Max Key is in the news in the last week or so, less than that. Some are calling him the first son, which I find a bit weird. But he's in the news, and not for a positive thing either. Let's have a quick look at the video that's been doing the rounds over the past 3 or 4 days, with Max Key sharing his personal and well thought out position on what a real man is.
Real men ride women.
Right. So...
Such a tool.
Max Key. And now it seems to be revealed, well, some are saying that he was definitely in the car by himself, which brings into the realm of questions, you know. Illegalities as well. Yeah. However, that happened. Your commentary first. There's things to say. We've got some commentators.
I've got a real man over here.
Here's the thing.
Southern man.
Well, here's the thing. I think we can all pretty much agree. It's universally accepted, is it not, bar from maybe parents, sister, and a couple of close mates, that he's kind of a bit of a twat. Well, that's kind of what
the first twat?
Yeah, the first one,
twat.
exactly. Okay. So that's kind of what I think the general, because people just, he's almost become joke value now, hasn't he though? You go Max Key, it's kind of like, oh, what's he done?
Lives at home with his dad, what's he done now?
Look, that's the thing, and I mean, you can almost, in a lot of ways, you can just kind of see the scenario, not that I know it personally, but I mean, you've grown up with your dad's the most, you know, powerful man in the country, he takes you to baseball games in the States, it's all this sort of thing. He's never probably wanted for a heck of a lot. I don't know about his upbringing per se, that's just the perception of it. And he clearly lives, and he's been brought up with that, you know, high-tech, social media, that kind of thing, putting your opinion out there all the time. And he must, in his head, in some level, think he has, well, A, just as much right as anybody else to put his opinion out there, and B, perhaps even a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, I looked at, he's got 55,000 followers on Instagram.
Right.
So that's not bad. That's good numbers.
Yes, but a lot of those posts, he just looks like a tool. Like, there's one, and it's funny, isn't it? Like, I don't begrudge people having money. I don't. But there's just ways that you flash it about. Like, one of them is just his Porsche, you know, driving wheel, you know, and there's, or steering wheel as they're commonly called, and all this sort of stuff. And it just, the way, but that one particularly bothered me because my husband, my recent husband, I'm just used to calling him husband, has just started, he's 40 years old and just bought a bike.
Oh no, he's a mammal. He's a mammal.
Full mammal. Oh. So, and I will say that real men do ride bikes, thank you very much, and my husband is one of these, even though it's been quite strange to see him with his padded pants.
As long as he
like
doesn't go park them on the side of a cafe and walk in with everything showing and clomping away on his cycling shoes.
I don't care if somebody does that, they're allowed to do that. But for me, it's he hasn't apologised. There's not one Instagram post with him saying, sorry, I was a tool. But what is amusing is that so many people are commenting on his pictures going, real men apologise, you fool, and all this sort of stuff. But a lot of people are like, we love you.
Well, the other thing is, I am a kind of a believer that the children of famous people don't necessarily belong to the society. In fact, they don't belong to society. But it's unquestionable that that Max Key, has sought after and enjoyed the benefits of being the son of the Prime Minister and has put himself in the public eye.
Exactly.
There's no question that's the case. So that means I think it's a fair conversation.
Yes.
The other thing that was fascinating is that John Key came out and apologised on behalf of his son.
Yeah, but
that was very strange to me because even if it was a Facebook or a Instagram post from Max Key himself, there's been nothing, as you said. Now, Michelle Acorn picked up on this really beautifully in an article she wrote on Spin-Off. Let me read you a couple of parts from it. She said this, quote, though it was mostly his dad's response that infuriated me. This is from comments he made earlier in the article. The old, diminished and dismissed one too. Clearly he didn't mean to make that sort of comment, that he made it in that way he did. But he fully takes responsibility for it. I've told him it's not appropriate. He apologised and assured me he won't do it again. So Daddy's come out and said, oh, I told my little boy off and he's not going to do it again. The beauty about Michelle Acorn's article or post is that she followed up by saying this. So she negated the point. Max actually said it. This is the whole he won't do it again, he didn't mean it. Max actually said it with his own voice. That's A. B. It's 4 words, so sod all wriggle room for getting anything the wrong way round and misrepresenting his intent.
Good point.
C. Max apparently alone in the car, videoed himself shouting it at the cyclist. Then D. Hit stop and save on the recording, and E, satisfied with its content, uploaded it to the internet.
Hard to argue.
It's hard to argue that he didn't mean to do it when it's a very short thing, and he went through that process to get it online.
Yeah, he meant it. There's no doubt about
Yeah.
that. How old is he?
He's
Is
21,
Early
I
20s?
think. Yeah, but I'd like to give out
Dad's
a shout out to
still
Stephanie Key, who's like skipped the country and doing bizarre performance art stuff with sushi on her
Paris.
naked
Good point,
self,
actually.
looking
Yeah.
beautiful and gorgeous, and like forging her own way. Not,
Very good
not letting Daddy apologise for her, doing her own thing, and I think that's fantastic compared to this behaviour.
The other article I liked about this issue from Nadine Chalmers-Ross, former Breakfast host.
Yes.
The best thing about the article I thought was the heading. The heading said this: Max Key lives at home. What does he know about real men? In the article, she said this, quote, "You might well wonder how a guy who has not yet cut the apron, or let's be honest, purse strings, is an authority on anything, let alone what constitutes a real bollock. But Max Key has actually highlighted our national guilty pleasure bagging cyclists."
Yes.
So she had 2 points here. One is leave the cyclists alone, but two, okay, what is a real man?
Yes.
Perhaps it's not what Max Key represents.
Well, there's no such thing as a real man.
Isn't there?
No, there's not.
Phew.
Men come in all shapes and sizes, and thank God my husband is an incredibly sentimental, sweet guy, and I love that, and so for me that's a real man. But a lot of other people don't see it that way, and that's fine. Marry who you want. But I'd like to. Oh, sorry to. But I think it's great that Nadine is. I love that article. I thought it was really well written, and she's putting an opinion out there which she's never been able to do when she's on breakfast television. And I particularly enjoyed it because I agree with this opinion.
Yes, well, and she's right about the national guilty pleasure. They're bagging cyclists.
100%.
That's one of my favourites.